Hey, what's going on, friends and family? My name is Skylent, and it's a little late tonight, but I was really tossing and turning, thinking about this video and if I should even do it, but I think it's actually probably going to be healthy for the wider MMO community. And if you're an MMO gamer like me, you are excited for all the new upcoming indie and experimental titles, and Ember Sword is one of them. And if you followed me and subscribed, you know that I've talked about Ember Sword a few times. It's made it to a couple list videos of games I'm really excited for. And it's made it actually in its own, like, pre-impression, first impression video where I kind of gushed over it. And that's probably how the developers found me, and they sent me an email. No, this is not a sponsored video, This is actually the opposite of a sponsored video. So devs, if you're watching, I hope you take my words with a little bit of weight, and hopefully you can clarify somewhere in the comments below, and we can all as a community fight about it. But basically, this is going to be my reaction to an email I was sent about Ember Sword that I think, without them knowing, kind of elucidated some mechanics that I think I hate. So Ember Sword, yeah, if you guys don't know what it is, just real quick, it's basically I think more action RPG oriented Albion Online. Yeah, it's very inspired by stuff like Ultima, but it's going to be browser based as well. It's going to use blockchain technology so that you have true actual ownership over the digital items and specifically the land in the game. But it does seem like it's going to be like ARPG focused. So lots of crazy skill shots, aim shots, acrobatics as well. And I really do love this sort of bubbly like art style. I think it's very modern and clean. I think it could be tuned up a little bit, whatever. There's lots of nitpicks. It's like, what is it, early pre-alpha, whatever. The game is not coming out anytime soon. But anyways, I do really appreciate this art. I think it's going to look great. I think it's going to play great. But still, regardless, with all my excitement and the sugar coating that I could give this game, I gotta be honest, guys, I think there's something that this game is gonna do that's kind of toxic for the entire, really, gaming industry, but yeah, specifically MMOs. And it is something that I've seen as a trend lately. I do have friends who are programmers. I myself am learning specifically how to program games in HTML5, so there's this, like, buzzword that's going around. I've already said it. It's blockchain technology, so that you have actual ownership of digital items. It might be similar to Bitcoin if I'm not mistaken, but basically it's this technology that allows you to basically lay claim to, in this case for the game, like land inside of a virtual reality space. Now, it's not like you can do that already in some games. Like, some people do own different things in different accounts. You can sell accounts, though generally it's out of terms of service. A lot of people do actually own like lands or buildings or certain things in certain games, but blockchain just adds a layer of security. And generally when you see things that say blockchain, and I'm seeing a couple MMOs that have been trying to do it, it basically means, hey, we're totally gonna have like a real money transaction system that allows you to like buy land and like you literally own it, and then you can actually make money from this. Again, not something that has not been done, but blockchain just makes it more secure. And it also just seems like it's like that's going to be the focus of the game. So how do I know that that's going to be the case? And how do I know that the developers are really hyper focusing on this instead of all these other cool mechanics that I could gush about and talk about, even though there's not much footage that I can really show? It's because I was actually given an email. So I'm going to read this email, and I think that even for just the average MMO gamer, you're going to be able to hear the words and how the developer is kind of expressing themselves to me, an influencer, that really kind of shows, I don't know, like the wolf under the sheep, I guess, costume here, at least in my opinion. I am very critical about what is or isn't pay to win, and I'm very critical about what what really makes MMOs special and good. And I do think land ownership, and I do think like building kingdoms and stuff like that is really fun. I really enjoyed BDO for the housing as well. Albion Online, the city concepts is really interesting as well. And I'm definitely partial to some Minecraft servers. That was actually my first taste of building and townie and stuff like that. So I think a lot of you guys, if you play survival games, you definitely know what I'm talking about. There is something fun about those concepts. But we're going to read this email, and I'm going to kind of elucidate a little bit, maybe some problems that this can create. And this is absolutely going to be a trend with some, especially Kickstarter MMOs coming soon. So here we go. Starting out, the email says, "Hey there. I work at Ember Sword, an upcoming free-to-play MMORPG which focuses on giving back true ownership to the players, immersive worlds, and exciting PvP and PvE content with skill-based combat. Now the first line is, that's probably going to be what the game is. It's probably going to be some, like Albion Online, but, fine-tuned to maybe more of a action RPG, maybe more of a PvE focused title that then also has PvP, probably more dueling and skirmishes versus zerging or guild versus guild. But one thing that they do say is it says true ownership to the players. That's the first thing that they mention after being a free-to-play MMO is true ownership. Not giant epic boss fights or quests or, even the PvE content and skill-based combat. That's actually at the very end of the sentence. Ownership to the players is the first thing. So the rest of the email is going to follow suit, hammering home the blockchain technology, hammering home the ownership of land. Reading onward, it says, we are currently working on our first land pre-sale. Oh yeah, that stings. Where people from all over the world will be able to purchase and truly own land within our game, which can then generate real-world revenue for them. Oof. The world of Ember Sword is built up by plots of player-owned land, where the players can build buildings, trade, slay monsters, and invite their friends to join them. Yeah. Okay, so there's like a lot of oofers with that. And I think it can be exciting to think of like, oh, I could play an MMO for money. And actually, a lot of people do that. A massive number of people do that. Technically, maybe illegally, or at least against terms of services in many games. And some titles, like, they totally support it, and that's why you play them. But it's not good. It's like anything that's directly pay to win, that has money flowing through it, that perverts the gameplay, I don't like. But then a game that totally focuses on that is just not a game that I'm interested in. I just don't want to. I play competitive games. I'll play games like League of Legends or Overwatch. A lot of you guys are playing Valorant. I'll play these games, or I'll play Dark Souls. I'll test my mettle. That's why I play games. I play games to game. And I know there is, devil's advocate, gamification in pay-to-win mechanics or real money transactions, and there is this pride and accomplishment that comes from, earning money from a video game, but to me, it's just impure, and most people would agree. Then again, this game is hyper-focusing on a particular type of player. That's going to be the Arc-Gauge players, the whales and BDO, etc., and the guilds. The money guilds like in Albion Online. So I have come in contact with them. I've actually made specific videos in all those games, and even specifically talking with money guilds. But no, it's not for me. And for most gamers, we really do find a distaste in it. And this is a trend that I'm seeing becoming more popular with MMOs. So continuing on, actually, to really showcase how vital this is to the game, not only are they putting it on the forefront, but specifically this email is going to say this: we're making a small portion of this land exclusive for VIPs. Oof. These people include famous content creators and industry thought leaders, which I guess is me. I've got thoughts. I don't know if I'm really a leader. I don't get that many views, but maybe. We will give away this very limited and an invite-only portion of our land to those who want to help share the news of an MMORPG that gives back true ownership to the players. Okay, so already there is a big issue with content creators, streamers, and just general influencers actually debatably ruining ecosystems, or at least, in certain servers and time periods, ruining the experience of a swath of players, a massive number of players, because of their existence. And sometimes, maybe a lot of the times, it can work in reverse. If you watch a streamer on Albion or Black Desert, they often have to hide, or, they have to do these things so they don't get stream sniped. Me, I just invite it. So, when I did my review for BDO, I got ganked all the time. But often, actually, content creators can do some cool events. Asmongold has done some cool things, but also there really is some infamy with content creators, influencers, getting bonuses, or basically kind of in a way, it's not paying to win, but in a way, kind of, they get things from the developers, they get special content, and even just from their followers and stuff. That's really distasteful, but directly from the developer, getting items and power and boosts, it doesn't sit well with most people, and it can actually affect players, and it can hurt the ecosystem. But now, going a step further, they specifically say that the land is limited, and they carved it out just for VIPs. When they're saying VIPs, they also mean people who paid for it. So there's this big trend in Kickstarter MMOs to give you castles, give you land, give you giant spaceships, give you like literal tangible power in the game to give you a head start in front of everyone else. And generally in games that are sandbox games where having a head start will have a ripple effect and drastically change the entire game. This kind of happened with Albion Online, and really this happens with most MMOs. And it's really tragic, but more and more games are giving you more and more power to the Kickstarters, more power to the VIPs. You're paying to win, and it's really tragic. So going further, not only is it limited, but they specifically actually do say how limited. It's extremely limited. So they ask if I would be interested in, basically being given land, probably being able to join the game early, so that I can make videos and help spread the word on the game, influence it. Don't get me wrong, guys, like that's money. It's pay to win. If I'm doing work, normally I would be getting paid, and they're giving me land. So it's like I'm paying for that land in a way. Now, at the bottom of the email, they say full transparency. We have sent this message to a few other people we would like to work with, and given that land in Ember Sword is truly scarce due to the size limits of the world, we cannot guarantee a spot for everyone. They cannot guarantee a spot for everyone. Now, there actually are a few games that have limited land space available. Final Fantasy XIV is infamous for this, though it's a PvE game, so generally people, they work for it. Maybe they can earn it eventually. It's awkward, but hey, it is what it is. But Black Desert Online and Albion Online are sandbox games, and they're PvP games, and they actually have truly competitive win conditions with those land spaces. And in both games do have real money transactions that can interact with them. And it's distasteful, though they're sandbox games, so you can kind of play around them, and that's just a portion of the game. So it's possible to barely touch on it or not even. You could totally evade that portion of the game. So it's soft pay to win, or it's really a gray area, depending on how you think. But in this case, in multiple points in this small email, and just now that I look back over this game, it really seems the point of the game, while it might have action combat, it might be cute and cuddly and have crafting and all this stuff that you can do, it really feels like all that is kind of the mini game compared to the overarching goal, the gameplay loop of earning money to own land and maintain that land so that you can earn real money and also put real money into the game in order to basically play sort of like a real estate game, which maybe that sounds appealing to a niche market, and it probably will. I mean, this game seems to have a little bit of attention, though it's not viral. Then again, you just need a few whales, and this game is absolutely hunting whales. Now, I feel very uncomfortable with that, and I wanted to basically just kind of come clean and show this off. And Ember Sword is not the only game that does stuff like this. I've already mentioned a few games that, to a lesser extent, have this or that mechanic that ties into their microtransactions, and many of you guys don't consider that pay to win, or you don't really see, the forest through the trees or whatever, but I think it's pretty clear with this game. This game was very much built with the gimmick of being a blockchain land-owning MMO, and everything else kind of fell through from there. And a lot of other games or projects, applications are totally doing that too. It's a gimmick, and it seems like a way that, I don't know, it kind of feels like a get-rich-quick kind of schemey sort of thing. It just seems really gimmicky right now, until the technology kind of matures and people kind of understand how to really utilize it in more good, fair ways for the consumer. But then again, hey, the consumer's going to pay for what they want, and whales are going to whale, so maybe it's really exciting for them. There definitely is a real pride and accomplishment when it comes to, owning land and making money from a video game, I guess. Sure. In the end, though, when it comes to fairness, objective gameplay, and a sportiness, especially in a PvP game and a game with competition over land, I don't think that this is the appropriate way to go about it. I don't like it. That's just not for me. So no, I won't be sponsored by this game. I'm not going to promote this game anymore until it is further elucidated. But even then, it seems pretty clear cut. I really don't want to champion games that, give away stuff. Object power, like castles, actual like ships, things like that. I really don't like it. So me, yeah, I'm kind of a sporty guy, and I really loved the concept of it when I was little. When I realized what MMOs were, that they were a thing, I was like, oh man, I want to be the best at doing something. I want to make a name in some way. I want to be a champion of something in this game. I want to make a mark. And, you know, I think a lot of you guys think the same, and you think, oh man, with a little bit of money, a little bit of research and stuff like that, I could be a freaking tycoon in this game, and you think you're making a mark, but I don't think it's really earned, in my opinion, like that. To me, earning it is climbing the ranks in League of Legends or Overwatch. Earning it is, you know, being like Rex Troy in World of Warcraft and, you know, figuring out really ridiculous ways to break the game and showing that off to everyone, or doing something like Asmongold and running awesome events that everyone loves and tunes into. You know, that's, to me, winning an MMO is basically understanding the mechanics and utilizing the community itself to do things that have never been done before. You know, just beating the final boss, speed runs, all that. There's so many ways you can play MMOs, but the problem is when an MMO has a very specific way that you're probably supposed to play, a specific gameplay loop, a specific gameplay goal, and then they intrude on that gameplay goal with microtransactions or macro transactions, real money transactions, and, you know, they have limited space, and they have this scarcity that's involved with the game to basically kind of create a pain so that you kind of pay it away. I just really don't appreciate it. I think a lot of us can look at a lot of games and be like, oh man, it sucks that we don't have much inventory space and they keep giving us trash. Oh, it sucks that this game is super grindy and they just want to sell boosts to us, or this or that. But in a lot of games, you can't evade that. That's true. In a lot of games, you can ignore it. But it's been creeping and creeping and creeping, and now, especially with the power of Kickstarter and being able to you know, with social media, focus on specific demographics, we are getting more and more games that, well, they're whale fishing, and they're going to have these mechanics. And it can sound exciting, but I implore my friends and family, you guys, to not participate in these games. And it kind of sucks, because I was excited. I'm excited for a lot of games, but there's always something, you know, I think we all know this. There's always something that just ruins it. But we'll see in the end. So anyways, I think that's really all my thoughts that I can give. Kind of ranty. It's late, but it was something that didn't really sit well with me. I'm always doing hype list videos, and I feel like, you know, sometimes I have to balance it. And this is one of those videos. Yeah, I'm hyped for this game, I guess, in a way. I was looking forward to it, but since maybe I might have excited some of you guys about this game or many other games, you should also know that I'm just like you. And I'm not just trying to make a quick buck and get some views or, you know, be an influencer and get paid like a couple $100s or whatever to promote a game. No, I want to play some good games. I just want to play good games, and I want to play them with you. And, well, they have to be good, and they have to be worth my time, and I'm not going to make a video if I think it's not worth your time. And Ember Sword, and a few others. Maybe I'll do a whole video on MMO that you should avoid, possibly. But yeah, I don't know. This just seems distasteful. What do you guys think in the comments below? Let me know. But much love, friends and family. And I hope you do whatever game that you choose to, you know, get hyped on and support and join the community. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. It's really fun to join the forums and the discords and talk about games and try to build it, you know, the community as the game builds itself. It's super fun, but hopefully we can have a healthy mindset when it comes to this. There is incentive, you know, developers, whaling, money, you as a consumer, where you're putting that money, you got to vote with your wallet, basically. So I'm asking you, vote with your wallet. Don't spend it on this game, because it seems like that's kind of all it cares about. So that's pretty much it. That's it. Yeah, that's it. Outro out. Much love. I'll see you in the next one.